I love giving weather alerts. This is something that I've been really passionate about for a very long time. In fact, we're going out tonight. We're going out to hunt tonight. Between Sunday and today, it's Tuesday. There's probably been a temperature drop of about 12 to 14 degrees. It was a little bit more yesterday, but there were a little higher winds yesterday. And now we're getting into rain. And there's some holes in the rain we'll be hunting, but really it's cloudy out. There's leaves falling. It's October 14th today. I think, Dylan, do you remember in the past we had an October 14th morning hunt on the lower right water hole, the west water hole in Coon Valley? And I think it was the 14th.
I'm going to challenge the date on
was
that.
Was it 17th?
Yes. I think it was a couple days later. But that is, yeah, we had a couple really good sits in a row that year.
Yep.
In this time frame in October.
Oh, yeah. And it's just that time, and we're seeing it on our cameras. We're starting to see the bucks range out a little bit more. So they're always like coming out right here if we see them, and now we're seeing them to the side. And so they're really starting to express their range. And so it sets up for excitement. We're going in for a 6-year-old junior tonight, and just everything's aligned. Last week, Dylan was here. We could have hunted, and the weather just was not that great. The winds were bad, and so we chose not to hunt. But tonight it's on. We needed a easterly wind, and we're getting east northeast tonight, which is the perfect wind for that sit, the Kermit stand. So, Dylan, you're excited, right?
I can't believe it's October 14th. We haven't even sat together yet, dude. I'm jacked to just go get in a tree with you.
I know. It is later than normal.
Yeah, definitely.
But we've been
busy. You were gone. I was gone.
Yep. Yeah, it was basically...
you just bought your license today. That's crazy.
Well, we had Kentucky hunting early September, and then we went bear hunting, walleye, grouse in Canada, came home for 4 days, went back up, bear hunting, Jen shot her bear, walleye, grouse, shut the camp down, came home for 2 days, went to Montana for some important meetings throughout the week, and Tacticam headquarters, and then now we're back. So now it's game on, like from here till middle of December.
Yeah, buddy. Let's go.
So weather alert, wanted to go over this, really important. I think, we talk about temperature drop, and that's why we're hunting tonight. My buddy Andrew last night shot about a 190, and it was October low, temp drop, and area of depth of cover, meaning that it was the one spot on his property that holds a lot of cover, and that's where this mature buck was hanging out. But he went in for it and he shot it, and so we're gonna have a story about that pretty soon too. But it's that time of year where a lot of people overlook this time, and it's really unfortunate. People are waiting, like on Andrew's buck. There might be a neighbor that's like, I can't wait till the pre-rut or rut to hunt that buck. Well, if you recognize what's going on with the weather and the opportunities this time of year, then you don't miss out on bucks like that. You can't, because it is a great opportunity. I'm looking at an opportunity right now, and this is our forecast here in southeast Minnesota, southwest Wisconsin. You can look. I looked at, for example, central Ohio. The rain is more like Saturday, Sunday, right around then. But bottom line is, even if it doesn't rain, you're looking at easterly wind changes, warmer temperatures, and all of a sudden you have that on the backside. So what we're looking at is we have 3 days of rain forecasted. We have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now the barometric pressure is low. I really don't care what it is. And so right now tonight, it'll be low because there's a front coming through. I think it's a great time to go out and hunt, right before 3 days of rain. And I think because of, deer to me think on tangibles. So wind change, temperature change, wind speed change, humidity in the air. They can feel all that. I mean, they're outside 365. So to me, they can feel it. They know what's going on. That gives them a little opportunity tonight. Now, this is on the backside of a front anyways. And then we look forward to, after 3 days of rain, imagine what it's going to be like on Saturday. I think it's a 9% chance of rain on Saturday, 55% chance on Friday. Thursday is 82%. Tomorrow on Wednesday is 55%. So we're looking at really good chances, and then nothing on Saturday. When it clears out on Saturday, we're getting west-northwest winds, which indicates that the temperature is dropping when you start to get that north wind in on the backside of a front. That's what we see. So Saturday is going to be outstanding. Sunday is going to be outstanding. So we're looking at the time frame. You're seeing this video on Thursday. Plenty of time for you to plan for that. And now today, we're looking at holes in the rain. There's a big patch of rain coming through right now as we're filming, middle of the day. And then we get a hole for this afternoon, evening, and then it's going to be more in the evening. So I'm hoping that hole coincides with when we're hunting. and that'd be perfect. So I love hunting holes in the rain. Now, if it's a hole in the rain of an hour, probably not a big difference. But when you talk 2 to 3 hours more, gives a chance for the leaves to dry out, gets quieter in the woods, things settle down. Imagine a hard downpour and those deer really get huddled in. And we see this on the cameras. People will say, well, you can shoot them during a blizzard. You can shoot them during a heavy rainstorm. You can shoot them in high winds. They're out in the wood. Just go hunt them. I'm just looking. I really want to play poker when I go to the deer woods. I want to go in with a stacked deck because every time you enter the woods, you have a chance of burning out your stands, burning out your lands. Now, if you're on public land, just go hit your favorite spots. You might have 10 favorite spots. Just go hit them and hunt. It's almost more of a competitive thing. But when you're managing private land, you're managing for the long haul, a completely different game. You have to be very, very careful. You can't blow something out and just say, well, I'll just go 10 miles over there to another spot and hunt. You just don't have that opportunity. So when we see those holes in the rain that are 2 or 3 hours more, I want to go sit, especially when there's a lot of rain. You're in between a lot of rain. For example, tomorrow, 82% chance, but let's say all afternoon there's no rain. It'd be a good time to go sit. I'm seeing rain all day, so I don't think that's going to happen. Now the big thing though, when we already have a temp drop from Sunday, it's Tuesday. We have rain coming for the next 3 days. I think the deer can sense that. I think we're going to get some good movement tonight. We'll see. But bottom line is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, rain clears out. Great time to hunt when there's no rain. Plus, we're getting the benefit of temperature drop. So when the temperature's dropping, we're getting leaves off the trees. It's starting to turn more like fall. Deer are starting to get pushed into their fall ranges, especially in particular bucks. They're going to miss quality feeding opportunities if it's windy and rainy out in the big open fields at night. They just won't be out there as much. And so when this breaks on Saturday, not only do you get a temperature-induced energy depletion, you get missed feeding opportunities, and you get the stress of the rain, wind. The more extreme, the better. So when you get that temperature drop on Saturday after 3 days of rain, perfect time to get out. So look at your forecast. You might see some rain in there, great to hunt on the backside. Temperature drop, great to hunt on the backside of that. High winds, great to hunt on the backside of that. When you get those all together, kind of like Andrew last night, where he shoots a 190, everything came to light, and who cares that it's a, quote, October lull. Barometric pressure, you've heard me mention that a couple times. I could care less what the pressure is. When you see those conditions change and you're hunting after the change, it could be like this. It's almost like a double drop. We get temperature drop from Sunday to today, and we're hunting that. But it's low pressure because we have another front coming, and then you're hunting the backside of the front. Now, a lot of times that backside, like next Saturday, that's the time to hunt. That's when all the impacts of this weather have gone through. So you want to hunt on the backside of that. Now, if the pressure is higher on Sunday, to me, that doesn't mean it's a better day on Sunday. To me, it means it's the second best day. Meaning the first best day, the best day to hunt is on Saturday. To me, the second day is 2/3 value, and finally the third day is 1/3 value, regardless of the barometric pressure, and then you're done. The effects of the front don't last more than a day or two as far as in the deer's world. So the bigger the front, the better. The longer it lasts, the better, and you hunt right directly in that backside after the conditions subside. Wind speed can be cut in half. That's great. Doesn't mean that it needs to be calm. In fact, I prefer some wind. I'd rather see some wind tonight when we go sit, because a constant wind will make sure that our scent is blowing to a constant location. Moon, who cares? I don't even know what the moon is right now. Sometimes I pay attention to the moon just to know if it's a full moon for walking in or not in the dark. Need a flashlight or not. But other than that, the moon has no bearing on what we're doing. It's really based on temperature. Like your cameras might show you get more movement in the middle of the night during a full moon, but we're not hunting in the middle of the night. I think it affects feeding timing during the day, meaning early morning feeding might be subsided because they've been living high on the hog and feeding all night. But when it gets into late morning with a full moon, they might peak then. They're feeding 5 times in a 24-hour period. So if you have these peaks up top here and you're going through feeding cycles like this, well, obviously, if one feeding cycle is really big, then this one is going to be subsided, just like you or I. If we eat a lot right here, we're not eating a lot at lunch. At the same time, if you eat 0 at lunch and you had a big breakfast, probably be set for a bigger dinner right here. So that's the way deer are. Feed 5 times in a 24-hour cycle. Rain is a great opportunity. When it gets into the rut, just real quick, I want to point this out, is you might see a lot of constant days, let's say end of October, November, and you're looking, man, it's my time to hunt, I have time off. I'm really looking at wind speed change, wind speed direction change, but especially something a lot of people miss is morning low. Because you'll have a morning low in there that might be 27, 28 degrees, and then all the other morning lows are 37, 38, 39. I want to hit that freezing temperature. It doesn't matter, maybe your morning lows or you're down in Louisiana and your morning lows are 57, 58, 62. All of a sudden there's 51 in there. And I want to go hunt that, regardless what the barometric pressure is. Winds, for example, winds are like friction. If it's super windy, it might be driving down the temperature, but sometimes winds keep the temperature from going down. So I want to see that temperature change, even if just morning, even if the daytime highs are almost all the same. Look for those morning differences, those wind speed differences. Apply that to that temperature change. Rain in the forecast right now. Bottom line is get in the woods on the backside of this. Enjoy the quote October lulls, because just like Andrew found and his buck last year too, giants are falling this time of year. And you don't want to wait till the pre-rut to the rut to get on some of these big giant monsters, because they're falling right now if you're a student of the weather, and I hope you are, and I hope you enjoy these weather alerts, because we're going to keep them coming all fall. Good luck. Yeah, I really appreciate you watching all the way to the end. Your followers really appreciate and taking the time. I wanted to mention we have our last minute food plots you can check out at Pure Wildlife Blends. We have a lot of different seed varieties, especially our fall power greens. We have ways to establish clover this time of year, rye, a lot of different goodies. We also have our client visits. We've already started scheduling for this year, December through next August. So there's 5 of us going to client properties. Make sure you check that out. And then finally, our books and web classes. They're great Christmas presents this time. This time of year is when they really start to sell. So really appreciate you watching. Just check out Whitetail Habitat Solutions, or for this food plot seed company, purewildlifeblends.com. Thank you.